Hello and once again, good evening, America! It is time! Welcome back to the Nascar Cheez Cup Series, and we are back at the hallowed ground of Bristol Motor Speedway for, you guessed it, the Goodyear Night Race at Bristol. I already tried recording this once, I'm going to be perfectly honest, and it was such a shit show that you're probably going to want to watch. That. Anyway, last week Brock Lesnar took to Indianapolis Motor Speedway to take home his third victory of the season, but can he do it at the hollow ground of Bristol? We won't find out until we take a look at the starting lineup. Starting on the pole for today's event will be the 38 of Barack Obama, and alongside him will be the 95 of Jack Black. Behind them will be Mary Poppins, starting alongside the 7 of Winnie the Pooh. What If Racing is going to start alongside the Bee Gees. Last week's winner, Brock Lesnar, will start alongside championship challenger Trent Reznor. Tails is going to start alongside the Bush Beer Bash at Bristol winner, Elvis Presley. Phil Collins will start next to Aaron Carter in the 55. Slim Shady is going to start next to the 51 of John Popper. Bernie Sanders will start alongside the still haven't gotten a top 10 CM Punk. Susan Boyle will start alongside that number 1 of Arnold Schwarzenegger, as Bruce Willis will start alongside Donald Trump in the 31. Larry the Cable Guy is going to start alongside Vin Diesel. Justin Allgaier sits next to Janet Jackson. Benjamin Franklin will start next to Tommy Joe Martins. Dale Earnhardt from 1970 is going to start next to Sweet Tooth and the 9. Brad Pitt in the 46 will start next to David Bowie. Rob Halford will start alongside that 15 of Gibby Haynes. Jesus Christ himself is going to start alongside Richie Birkenhead. MC Hammer is going to start next to Rob Zombie. Your almost 2 full race points leader, Corbin Forrester, the first to break the 1,000 point threshold in the NASCAR Cheez Cup Series. Will start alongside Jake from State Farm, and rounding out the field will be Greg Graffin in the 43 and Keanu Reeves in the 16. Looking to be another exciting race at Bristol. In all likelihood, another shit show. You know, I didn't skip the Martinsville or Bristol race that you saw that was shit show, so you can only imagine the one that I skipped for this race. How much of a shit show that was. It was pretty sad. Aerial coverage is as always covered by Smithfield Foods, as our president no longer will lead them to green. He has a terrible start. Jack Black on the outside, but the inside line is where you want to be at Bristol. We are underway in the Goodyear Night Race of Bristol. Out of turn 2 goes the entire rumbling pack. We'll take a look at the spectator cam to try and get a better look at the entire field. There goes your leader, Barack Hussein Obama. We'll look at Tommy Joe Martin so we can see the most of the track. Jack Black falling back. Winnie the Pooh takes advantage. 3 wide out of 2. The Thunderous Thunder Valley. 2 laps complete from Bristol Motor Speedway and the Goodyear Night Race at Bristol. Your leader is the 38 of Barack Obama, all on his own in his own postcode. Winnie the Pooh is taking over the 2nd position, followed by the Bee Gees. Last week's winner, Brock Lesnar, is in the 4th position, followed by no longer your top 10 leader, Mary Poppins. It is a 3-way tie for the most top 10s this season between Lesnar, Forrester, and Poppins. Hendrick Motorsports showing off their muscle this season. Next in line, we have the Bush Beer Bash of Bristol winner, Elvis Presley, and there is championship challenger Phil Collins. Jake from State Farm has already gone down pit road for one reason or another. Next in line, we have CM Punk, still looking for his first top 10, currently in a top 10 position. Jack Black is going to be rounding out the top 10 alongside of What If Racing. Now, through the rest of the field is Susan Boyle with championship challenger Trent Reznor. Larry the Cable Guy and Janet Jackson round out your top 15 as here comes Tommy Joe Martins underneath the 18 as Slim Shady. Let's take a look at some more championship challengers. Your points leader, Corbin Forrester, sits in the mid-30s. Having a rough start to his event, but Bristol is not an easy track to get around. I don't blame him in the slightest. Justin Allgaier, right behind that number 19 of Tails. So is Bernie Sanders right behind the 12 car. Here are 3 championship contenders in one line all along here. We've already nearly completed 7 laps in this event. By the time we got to 7 laps in the previous attempt, there was already 3 cautions, and I'm not even kidding. Where's David Bowie? He is in 29th, so yeah. Back up front we go. Barack Obama, your leader. 8 laps complete from the Bush Beer Bash at Bristol. Winnie the Pooh is second. The Bee Gees are third. Brock Lesnar and Mary Poppins round out your top 5. Not much changing up front. Barack Obama still is your leader. We will take a quick break with NASCAR nonstop. You will miss a second of the spectator cam action here in the Goodyear night race at Bristol. Don't go anywhere.
You've reached the age where you learned a thing or two. This is the age of knowing what needs to be done. So, why would you let something like erectile dysfunction get in your way? Isn't it time you talk to your doctor about Viagra? 20 million men already have. With every age comes responsibility. Ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease or loss in vision or hearing. This is the age of taking action. Viagra. Talk to your doctor. See if America's most prescribed ED treatment is right for you.
Silk Stockings, an all-new episode on USA, Monday night at 10, 9 Central.
Today's presentation of the NASCAR Cheez Cup Series race from Bristol is presented by Nestle. Almost as many human rights violations as the Banana Republics.
Welcome back to the Goodyear night race at Bristol. From the spectator cam, you didn't really see that as much as I was hoping you would, but we'll take it back up to the front, where Barack Obama has fallen from the first position. Your new leader is Winnie the Pooh in the 7. Winnie the Pooh looked like a championship challenger early in the season, but fell back and has just fallen on harsh times. Now he's finally back at the front of the field where he belongs, in that number 7 Honey Maid Chevrolet. Behind him is the 20 of the Bee Gees, who is a similar story. Looked like they could be championship challengers mid-season, but when I changed their paint scheme, apparently that made them suck. And they have since had terrible finishes. Now they're up into second place, looking to have a good time for the first time in a long time. Mary Poppins sits in the third position, who was your top 10's leader for the most majority of this season. Now is tied with Corbin Forrester and Brock Lesnar. Mary Poppins hasn't gotten as many top 5s as she would like, so she is definitely hoping to break that ceiling and get to the lead. The Bee Gees have taken the lead from the number 7 of Winnie the Pooh. Now Mary Poppins goes underneath that 7 car, looking to make up a couple more positions. Winnie the Pooh has fallen to 3rd, Mary Poppins to 2nd. Brock Lesnar sits 4th, last week's winner at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Brock Lesnar looking to secure his position up in the first place of the standings. He is currently 3rd behind the 14 of Phil Collins, who is right behind him. Both of these drivers looking to get an extra win and secure their spot next to Corbin Forrester at the top of these standings. Jack Black, on the other hand, not looking like a fantastic season for him. He's in about 15th. Fallen recently, but now he is sitting in the 7th position, that 95 car, looking to find its way into a top 10 position today. Trent Reznor, your Daytona night race winner, also up there in points. If Lesnar isn't 3rd in points, then Trent Reznor is. So, Reznor and Lesnar, difficult to keep track between the two. So yeah, Trent Reznor looking to get another win day. Elvis Presley, your Bush Beer Bash at Bristol winner earlier this season, looking to go 2 for 2 and sweep the Bristol weekend. Elvis Presley has not won since that event. Elvis Presley looking to change that today, in the 8th position at the moment. Barack Obama, on the other hand, has had a rough season, just like Larry the Cable Guy behind him. Barack Obama didn't do much since the California race. He's been challenging in a couple of events, but has never been able to seal the deal. Can Barack Obama turn his legacy around today? As for Larry the Cable Guy, Very little is talking about Larry the Cable Guy this season. Not exactly the greatest car for Larry the Cable Guy, but not exactly the greatest season either. Larry the Cable Guy has performed well at Bristol, however. I don't remember how he did at Martinsville, so maybe he'll come back at Martinsville and do good as well. But Larry the Cable Guy just looking to have something to write home about in today's race. Susan Boyle, on the other hand, a very, very, very piss-poor season for Susan Boyle. Started out with a rough what-the-fuck 500, ending, it looks like, on a high note. She performed well at Charlotte and is battling back here at Bristol. Can Susan Boyle get a top 10 today? Behind Susan Boyle is Tommy Joe Martins, who has been so close yet so far away to many wins. Dover and Pocono come to mind. The 44 car coming on a charge recently, looking to break the top 10 in today's event. Let's take a look at some championship contenders. Corbin Forrester in the 24, your points leader by just under 2 races. Corbin Forrester is in the 29th position at the moment, looking to try and maintain his points lead. He will not be able to do that with a 29th place finish today. Let's find the 6th of Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is in 23rd, not much better than Corbin Forrester. Bernie Sanders needs to do a lot better than this. Bernie Sanders is a challenger and does not have the points buffer that Corbin Forrester does. Bernie Sanders needs to crank up the fire at some point. Tails, on the other hand, is also in Bernie Sanders' situation. I think Bernie Sanders got past Tails in points, so Tails needs to be doing even better than Bernie Sanders and Corbin Forrester. A tall order for the driver of the Pampers number 19 Toyota. Let's find the 12 of Justin Allgaier. Allgaier is 16th right now, about where he's run all season. Justin Allgaier just on the outside looking in for a championship run. Any of these top drivers have a chance at this championship, especially with the double points event to finish out this year's NASCAR Cheez Cup Series season. At Homestead, there will be a double points event because Brian France needs to be a little bit more quintessential. You know, having this change in schedule, having this change in point system, we had to compromise where we had to with the boss man. Mary Poppins is your new leader now. 32, about to be 32 laps complete in today's event, catching the tail end of the lead lap now. Vin Diesel, Jake from State Farm, the last cars on the lead lap. I think Jake from State Farm went down pit road, so Jake from State Farm is multiple 3 laps down for Jake from State Farm. If there's no caution, which is highly unlikely at this track, Jesus Christ himself. I forgot to talk about Jesus Christ. I didn't even think about that. Jesus Christ has fallen off as of late. Jesus Christ was a main championship contender over the course of this season, but now he sits in 38th, about to be lapped by his teammate Mary Poppins. Rough times. Let's take a look at the rest of Hendrick Motorsports. Brock Lesnar sits 5th. Corbin Forrester, as we all know, is about 29th, and he still is 29th. What If Racing is 11th. So up and down day for Hendrick Motorsports today. Jesus Christ in a not good position right now. You've waited with bated breath. Let's go, NASCAR. Crank it up. Lap traffic not playing into Mary Poppins' favor. Phil Collins has caught our leader. Phil Collins looking to get his third win of the season. I'm pretty sure it's the third win of the season. Mary Poppins still looking for that first win. Mary Poppins still in the championship conversation, but not so much as some other drivers. Mary Poppins very consistent, but not consistent enough to maintain ploy in the championship conversation. Jake from State Farm, very difficult for that number 5 to get past. And when will pit stops come into play? Will there be a set of green flag pit stops at Bristol? I would be astounded to see that. Mary Poppins still riding behind the number 11 car. Phil Collins right there behind, waiting for Mary Poppins to slip up at any moment. Jake from State Farm hogging the inside line. Phil Collins with a look on the outside, but that's just not going to be enough. This is not a racetrack to try and pass on the outside. Still single file as I head into turn 3, completing lap 46 in a moment. Mary Poppins is your leader. Second place is Phil Collins. You have to go back to the Bee Gees to find third. Then it's Brock Lesnar in fourth. Trent Reznor rounds out your top 5. Winnie the Pooh is 6th. Elvis Presley is 7th. Jack Black is 8th. 9th is Obama. And rounding out the top 10 is Larry the Cable Guy. Let's take a look at our championship contenders. Corbin Forrester is in 27th at the moment. Gonna need to make some heavy adjustments to that car down pit road. Tails, on the other hand, has moved up to 18th. Better than before, that's for damn sure. Jesus Christ himself, on the other hand, is 36th. About to probably be lapped by that number 5 of our leader, Mary Poppins. One more car. Where is Bernie Sanders? 22nd for that number 6 car, Bernie Sanders. Not exactly what they wanted to have today. Mary Poppins has lost the lead to the 14 of Phil Collins, but Phil Collins hasn't gotten past that number 11 yet. It's still anyone's race at Bristol in the Goodyear night race at Bristol. At the line, it will be 50 of 125 laps complete. Thanks for joining us on the Kamikaze Games Sports Network for the NASCAR Cheez Cup Series race. When will they head down pit road? Will they head down pit road? Will there be a caution? Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in a moment. 12 seconds, 13 seconds. Oh, shit! Well, let's get a big round of applause for you Technics and their excellent game design.
Hey, do you like buying things? Of course you do! Hey, do you like t-shirts? Of course you do! Do you like buying t-shirts?
Who doesn't love buying t-shirts? And what better way to signify the fact that you love buying t-shirts than buying one of my t-shirts? Yay!
So what are you waiting for? Head on over and then you can go to that website.
There, right there. You can read it right here.
Look at it, just go there and you can get yourself a t-shirt, son.
Enjoy the video. And of course, memes!
Now at Applebee's, the Hoy Burger. A half-pound burger with cheese and hot deli sliced ham. Order a Hoy Burger and Applebee's will donate $1 to United Way of Story County.
Today's presentation of the NASCAR Cheez Cup Series race from Bristol is presented by Popeyes. If you like your commercials racially stereotyped, then this is the restaurant for you.
Welcome back to the Goodyear night race at Bristol. Phil Collins continues to lead, as you saw under NASCAR Nonstop. That 11 of Jake from State Farm was finally passed, and now 2 cars are a buffer zone, as well as a lot of space. About to be 3 cars a buffer zone between Phil Collins and second place Mary Poppins. Phil Collins, if you look back on the Busch Beer Bash at Bristol earlier this season, looked like he had a very powerful car until he was caught several laps down. Will this be Phil Collins' comeback? Will he be able to rectify past mistakes at Bristol? And when will there be a caution? Another big question is, when will there be pit stops? And how will that look? In my honest prediction as a sportscaster, I believe that there's going to be a caution during green flag pit stops that are going to shake things up severely in the running order situation. It's best for all of these drivers to stay out as long as they can, but since there's never this long of a green flag run in an NR 2003 race at Bristol, well, who knows how long they have on fuel. Could they make it the whole race? This is an interesting question, an interesting point, and an interesting conversation to have between multiple sportscasters if I had broadcast partners. Unfortunately, I don't, which is why we're going to take a look at our championship contenders. Corbin Forster's up to the 24th position. Definitely better than before, but still not what he wants to see in that 24 car. Let's head back to Jesus Christ himself, who I'm pretty sure we saw in the shot with Phil Collins. Yep, Jesus Christ himself is the last car on the lead lap. Jesus Christ is going to need to put it in a high gear if he's going to want to have hope for his championship now. Trent Reznor, however, is up to the 4th position underneath the Brock Lesnar 48. So that's for 3rd. The Bee Gees are back to 5th now. So your top 5 is Phil Collins, 2nd place. Mary Poppins, 3rd is Trent Reznor. 4th is Brock Lesnar. And 5th is the Bee Gees. Let's take a look at some more championship contenders. Justin Allgaier is in the 15th position. Right behind that 12th car is the 19 of Tails in 17th. Where is Bernie Sanders at, you may ask? Well, Bernie Sanders is in 20th. Someone hit the wall there. That may have been David Bowie getting into Corbin Forrester after hitting the wall. I'm pretty sure that was David Bowie into the wall, Corbin Forrester into that number 78 car. They seem to keep it all good, so amazingly, there is not a caution at Bristol still. This race is crazy. Back to the lead, it is Phil Collins still in the lead. Keanu Reeves has fallen a lap down now. Jesus Christ himself is the next target for that 14 car, unless Brad Pitt gets passed as well. And that is indeed what's happening. Brad Pitt stops like a rock. Jesus Christ himself remains in not a lap down. The urgency of that 14 car right behind him setting in to championship contender, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ might have gone up a position through that. Yes, now he's in 33rd. And pit stops have begun. Unless this is unscheduled for that number 41 of MC Hammer. You never know with this game. Pit stops potentially underway now. The 41 of MC Hammer in pit lane. Since he's such a slow car, I doubt this is scheduled. So, there's Donald Trump. There's Jesus. No! More cars coming in now. Green flag pit stops at Bristol underway, just past halfway. So, hopefully there will not be a second round of pit stops immediately at the end. Phil Collins heads down pit road, the long pit road now. And now all we can do is observe the pit lane cameras and hope that there is no caution flag. There's no good camera angle. I can't tell the caution lights. I don't see a camera angle that I can look at the caution lights with. If I had the camera mod, I could do that, but I guess not. Will people get stuck on pit road like they do under caution since it's not under caution? Will every driver here be able to survive this pit lane situation? To the front we go. Phil Collins is leaving his pit box now. Here comes Brock Lesnar in the 48, most likely second. There is the 93 of Trent Reznor just coming in, so God knows how this is shaking out right now. We'll keep it on the pit lane 1 camera for now to observe the craziness that is pit lane. When will Jake from State Farm go down pit road is a question that he's answering. All these drivers coming through their stop now. Is that Allgaier right there? Yes, indeed. I think I saw Allgaier go down already. So, and there's the 5 of Mary Poppins. There's the 24 of Corbin Forrester. There's the 13 of Benjamin Franklin. Farm. Hammer. There's too many cars. To the lead we go. Phil Collins. It says that he's still in first. Everyone has gone down pit road, potentially. Once Phil Collins crosses the line, we will see for sure if he is in first place. It says that he's in first. There is the 93 of Trent Reznor now, coming out of pit road. And it still says that Phil Collins is your leader. We will wait for these pit stops to cycle through before we head out of the game to see exactly where everyone is. But for now, Phil Collins is in first. David Bowie is in 18th. 19th is Gibby Haynes. 35th is Trent Reznor. That's rough. Rough stop for our championship contender. Jesus Christ himself gets out in the 20th position. Great stop for that number 88. And Brock Lesnar is second. Like I said before. MC Hammer was the first to start the green flag caution, pit stops, whatever you want to call this shit. He is in 16th now. When we complete lap 75, I'll jump out of the game and see if we can get a good idea of where everyone is shaking out after this green flag round of pit stops at Bristol. Phil Collins will cross the line to complete 78 5 laps. The leaderboard stands as Phil Collins is first, Brock Lesnar is second, the Bee Gees are third, Elvis Presley is fourth, Justin Allgaier up to the 5th position, Larry the Cable Guy 6th, 7th place is What If Racing, 8th is Tommy Joe Martins, 9th is your points leader Corbin Forrester, Mary Poppins is 10th. Lap down cars are Sweet Tooth on down. Several cars going laps down that time around. Let's take a look at some of our championship contenders. The 19, that's not the 19. The 19 of Tails is 34th. An awful pit stop for that 19 car. Brock Lesnar, as we said, was second. Also having a god-awful pit stop is the 93 of Trent Reznor. Maybe that was just because they stayed out too long. I don't know if tires are that vital here. They probably are, honestly. Justin Allgaier, as we saw, was up to the 5th position. Bernie Sanders, on the other hand, is 31st. Several championship contending drivers way in the back of this field. As we all know, that 24 of Corbin Forrester was up to 9th. Up, down to 10th now, but up down to 11th, up to 10th. So I don't actually know how his car is performing now, if he got the adjustments that he needed to come back and close out this race. But in any case, we will go once again to NASCAR Nonstop at the Spectator Cam. Thanks for joining us in the NASCAR Cheez Cup Series race at Bristol, the Goodyear Night Race at Bristol.
Dude, the rent is due, your mom is dying, and your parole officer is outside looking for you. What are you gonna do? I don't see how this is helping. Fuck it.
If you watch, you know. Absolutely. 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 Absolutely.
The Chargers lost to the fucking Browns!
Today's presentation of the NASCAR Cheez Cup Series race from Bristol is presented by
Welcome back to the NASCAR Cheez Cup Series race from Bristol. Your leader was Phil Collins. We were watching our points leader Corbin Forrester run around just outside the top 10. Phil Collins continues to lead this race, and since the field is all sorts of strung out, we're just going to look at it like this. Phil Collins leads by over 6 seconds over second place Brock Lesnar. The Bee Gees are third. Elvis Presley sits fourth. Justin Allgaier is fifth. What If Racing, Tommy Joe Martins, Mary Poppins, Rob Halford, and Larry the Cable Guy round out your top 10. Sweet Tooth is looking to get a lap back, or just went a lap down. I'm not sure which. I thought Sweet Tooth was a lap down when we came back, but Sweet Tooth is right up behind our leader. Sweet Tooth has a good enough car to challenge our leader. The question is, does anyone else? Phil Collins has been putting on yet another clinic, just like he did at, wherever the hell he wanted. It was after Chicagoland, I don't know. Was it Atlanta? It might have been Atlanta, whatever. Phil Collins continues to lead, 91 laps complete at the line, which means that there's about 28 laps remaining in today's event. No, it's less than that. I'm stupid. Whatever. Phil Collins leading. His last lap was an 18.8. But he has no competition behind him, so there's really no reason to take a look at other drivers' lap times. On the track, 6 seconds at Bristol looks like that. An entire half of the field, basically. Half of the track, essentially, is what Brock Lesnar needs to overcome if he wants to win this race today. Caution-free at Bristol, amazingly. Especially considering I had to restart this because it was so much of a shit show last time. Will there be a caution flag? We had a couple of close calls involving the 78 of David Bowie and our points leader Corbin Forrester. Let's take a look at some more championship contenders. Trent Reznor has fallen to 35th. He was about 5th, so great job on pit road there. Jesus Christ himself basically swapping spots with that number 93 car. Up to the 18th position for Jesus Christ himself. Phil Collins, as you all know, has been our leader. Justin Allgaier is 5th right now. He might be being challenged by Barack Obama. No, he is not. What If Racing is his closest competition. Bernie Sanders, another championship contender, sits in 30th right now. Not a good race. Mary Poppins is 8th. And there is Corbin Forrester, your points leader, just breaking into the top 10 in 10th now. 96 laps complete from Bristol. Phil Collins continuing to lead. Held up by that number 18 car now. The last car in the lead lap, Slim Shady, I'm pretty sure. In the 14th position. There is Tails, who is 34th. And that's definitely not going to help out in the point situation, to say the least. Donald Trump is also 34th. Excuse me? Okay, so Tails is 33rd. Big wad of cars here. Phil Collins has such a huge lead that I doubt it will matter in the end. But could this throw a monkey wrench into his equation? At the line it will be 100 laps complete, 25 remaining. Phil Collins must be safe. This race isn't over yet. He could still choke it away. At the line it will be 100 laps complete, 25 remain in today's event. Phil Collins has led pretty much since, like, what, lap 15? Into turn number 3 goes the number 14 of Phil Collins. Should not be another pit stop, though I wouldn't be surprised if some people had to go down. Again, because that's just what this game does. Likes to make 7,000 pit stops. Oh my goodness, there went Dale Earnhardt from 1970 in the back. Down on the inside of the field, right up in front of that number 15 of Gimme Haynes. Oh my goodness. We stay green. A caution-free race at Bristol. So unimaginable. Gimme Haynes barely dodges that number 3 car of Dale Earnhardt from 1970, who flew into the inside wall for God knows what reason. Lap times have fallen off for that number 14 car. Sweet Tooth into the wall. 19.1 that time by for Phil Collins. Should a caution come out and other drivers come down pit road, unless they got caught a lap down because this game's stupid, fresh tires could make a huge difference at the end of this event. Around and around they go, 20 laps remaining at the line. Phil Collins continues to lead. Second place, I assume, is still the 48 of Brock Lesnar. Indeed. Out we pop. The 24 of Corbin Forrester has made his way all the way up to 7th now. Recovering heavily after rough times. Larry the Cable Guy is the final car on the lead lap right now. In 12th. We could be lapped up to the top 10 by the time this race is concluded. Janet Jackson gets back past the number 19 of Phil Collins. Phil Collins with an 18.9 that time by. Down low on the racetrack that time for Phil Collins. Looking like they were going very slowly. I was confused there for a second. I thought there might either be a caution or they were going down pit road, so that was really interesting. At the line, 108 laps complete for Phil Collins. Continuing to lead, looking for his 3rd win on the season to catch up in the points. This will be an excellent points day for that number 14 car. If Corbin Forrester was not to gain any points in this race, and Phil Collins was to gain 100 points in this race, Phil Collins would cut Corbin Forrester's lead in half. Corbin Forrester down to 8th now. 8th place would be 41 points in the championship. Phil Collins would gain, I can't do math this quickly off the top of my head, 59 points, I think, on Corbin Forrester in the point standings. On the outside lane goes the 44 car. Corbin Forrester fast on the inside, though. Tommy Joe Martins was 7th place. Corbin Forrester is now 7th place again. Mary Poppins is 5th. Teammate to Corbin Forrester. Back up front we go. Phil Collins past the 31 of Donald Trump now. Or, well, he was past Donald Trump, but I'm talking about 27, Janet Jackson. Now looking for the 40 of Larry the Cable Guy. Few laps left in this event. 12 to go, I think, at the line. 114, 13, 14, 15, 16. 113 laps complete at Bristol. Donald Trump takes it underneath that 14 car. Getting his lap back, I'm pretty sure. Trump is 33rd right now. Tails is 32nd. 10th is Elvis Presley. Corbin Forrester falling several spots, I think, in that. Yes, indeed. Falling several spots here. Corbin Forrester back to 9th. That place is worth 38 points in the championship. Corbin Forrester falling now. Phil Collins continues to lead. Lap 115 now. 10 laps to go for Phil Collins. He gets past the 31 once again. Several championship contenders in this image. By several, I mean two. Tails up front, but not in first. Phil Collins up front. In the middle, but up front. There is Jesus Christ himself as well, who has recovered from rough times in this event to the 15th position. Great recovery by that 88 car. 34th is Trent Reznor. Once again back to the 12 of Justin Allgaier. In 4th place now. 5th is What If Racing. Bernie Sanders sits in the 26th position. A great recovery after a rough pit stop for that number 6 car. Let's go back to your championship leader, Corbin Forrester, who sits still in the 9th place, challenging Rob Halford for 8th. All the way to 7th will be Tommy Joe Martins. Corbin Forrester looks like he can only gain one more spot in this event, because Phil Collins is coming closer and closer to ending out this race. Should a caution come out now, it is unlikely they'd get the race restarted. Phil Collins continuing to win. 6 laps remain at Bristol. Phil Collins has caught the final car on the lead lap. Larry the Cable Guy, Jesus Christ himself in the picture. A 19.6 that time by for Phil Collins. Probably pulling away from Brock Lesnar yet even regardless. 5 laps remain in the Goodyear night race at Bristol. We want to thank everyone for joining us for this week's instance of NASCAR Cheez Cup Series racing from Bristol Motor Speedway on the Kamikaze Game Sports Network. 4 laps remain in the Goodyear night race at Bristol. Phil Collins continuing to lead. About to pass Larry the Cable Guy on the outside. That is just how powerful this 14 car is. And there is no wonder that he's doing so well in this event today. Phil Collins on the outside of the 40 car now. 3 laps remain in the Goodyear night race at Bristol. Coming closer and closer to closing this out is the number 14 of Phil Collins now. Several championship contenders in this image. The 14 of Phil Collins, the 88 of Jesus Christ, the 93 of Trent Reznor. 2 laps left for that number 14 car of David Bowie. Fuck you, Phil Collins. The 88 gets past, regaining a lap on that 14 car. But it doesn't really matter to Phil Collins now. Phil Collins has entered the white flag sponsored by Credit One Bank lap. One more time around Bristol for this 14 car. Can he do it? He rolls through turn number 2. Coming out with some speed. Jesus Christ and Larry the Cable Guy battle side by side ahead of him, but it doesn't matter to the driver of that 14 car. Phil Collins gets his 3rd win of the season at the Goodyear night race at Bristol. And what a great showing, a dominant showing by that 14 car, coming alive at the correct time of year. We are nearing the final segment of this season. Phil Collins taking home the win. I'm pretty sure actually from the poll, I want to say Phil Collins is one. No, David Bowie got the poll, right? I don't fucking remember. Phil Collins comes into his pit stall. If it's at the head of the... Nope. He's about at the middle, so he did not get the pole in this race. Very few winners from the pole in this game. Just realizing that while playing through this season. Lapped up to the top 10, Phil Collins takes home the win. Brock Lesnar did catch up there at the end, finishing 2.5 seconds behind the 14 car. The Bee Gees take 3rd, Justin Allgaier 4th. What If Racing ends out the race in 5th. Corbin Forrester ends in 9th. Rough day in the points for him, even though it's a top 10. Jesus Christ manages a 12th place finish. And all the way at the bottom, we see Gibby Haynes retired after barely dodging that number 3 car of Dale Earnhardt from 1970. Rough race for a couple of drivers. Trent Reznor in 32nd, Tails in 30th. Bernie Sanders in 26th, not going to help them out in the points in the slightest. A big round of applause for Phil Collins getting it done today in the Goodyear night race at Bristol. Thanks for joining us on the Kamikaze Game Sports Network. Once again, from all our partners here, we thank you for joining us for another NASCAR Cheez Cup Series race. Next week, we will see you once again for another NASCAR Cheez Cup Series race. Thanks for watching.